Hi guys, and welcome to a guide to how to more easily keep uptime during fourfold fires. Just like in my previous guide, I still recommend that you have light parties assigned to a corner as their main base. And if they need to rotate from this, they're staying north-south priority or rotating clockwise. In my previous guide, I showed this as a map relative strat, with melees on the inside corner, healers on the outside corner, tanks along the north-south wall, and ranged along the east-west wall. This works, and as you can see, this is what it looks like here. However, a lot of groups in PF prefer to instead do this as a boss relative strat. For that, it's only tanks in range that are going to have their positions changed. This time, tanks are going to, facing inwards, be on the left side, and ranged, facing inwards towards the boss, are going to be on the right side. It's the same tank healer left, DPS right you've probably done a bunch of times throughout the fight. When we rotate it over here, you see that the groups have rotated, they have not mirrored. Entirely up to your group which one you want to go with, but just make sure you discuss and make it clear with your group, are you going boss relative or are you going map relative? Now, in my previous guide, I showed a way to keep uptime when it was on the east-west walls that had the group sliding in and having to make swaps relative to make sure that tanks were always on the inside. I think this is a bad strat now, and I don't recommend you use this. Instead, a much simpler way of doing this is keep your same corner positions that you would go to anyways, and the only people that need to move are tanks. Main tank is going to move in and stand on the La Habrea mask on the inside. Off tank is going to be on the outside, max melee in the middle. If we put the boss's hitbox here, you can see that both tanks and both melees easily keep uptime. Finally, when I lay the octaflares over top, you can see this is quite cushy. There's a lot of room. You're much less likely to clip than with the original strat. If you're trying to do tetraflares instead, just have your tanks and healers stack on your DPS. You can see that the same strat works perfectly if we're instead along the north-south wall. There's no thinking, there's no swaps needed, it's just the tank goes middle, the off-tank goes outside, and you're done. Tetraflares, once again, stack on your DPS. Now, there's one last way to keep uptime on the corners, but this one is a lot spicier, and so I only recommend this if you're very confident with P8S as a whole already, and if you, as a tank, have communicated with your melee that you're going to do this and would like to try it. So for this one, when you've got Octaflare and when you've got two corners going off, which means you have to be in the corners, there isn't room to stand in the safe spot and have two people keep uptime. Instead, what our tanks and melees are going to do is they're going to both stack in that uptime spot, and they're going to take advantage of the fact that the vents explode about a second before the Octaflare. So as soon as the vents explode, tanks are going to move in into the left, melees move in into the right, and they're going to try to get far enough away to not get clipped by each other's Octaflare. It looks like this. The timing on this is tight, and once again, please make sure as a tank you communicate to your melee that this is what you'd like to do before just trying it, otherwise you are going to get everybody killed. And that's it. That's my suggestions for how to keep uptime for Fourfold. Thank you so much to commenters for previous videos for helping me to discover these strats. Take care, guys.